Hey guys, gonna be breaking down the Sunday NBA slate. We got 5 games today. There's gonna be 3 at 4 p.m. right at lock, and then we got 2 later on. So looks to be pretty straightforward slate, I would say right now. There are a few injuries that we do have, so gotta have to monitor that as usual with NBA how things go. Starting out with the first game, Boston at Houston. So because this is a back-to-back for Boston, I'm thinking that a guy like Jaylen Brown, just because he has had some knee problems in the past, that he could sit this one out. They do play the Hornets on Monday, and then you also are looking at the Magic, who are going to be on a second or on the first leg of a back-to-back, or yeah, Magic playing on the first leg, and then Memphis is on the second leg, which they're playing the Clippers right now, and then they will be playing against the Lakers tomorrow. And so for Boston and Houston, this first game, they got Jason Tatum at 8,800. If Jaylen Brown is going to play, I would still have a lot of interest in Tatum. But if he is out, I'm pretty sure Tatum just becomes the obvious pay up option. And looking at the whole slate, like Curry 11K, I mean he deserves his price tag, but it is a little bit expensive. I think this might be the highest price we've ever seen Curry, but it is a very good match against the Kings, and the Kings really can't stop anyone. It's a fast-paced game, so Curry for sure. I would definitely still have interest in him. It's going to depend on the ownership, but people are also scared about the price. I'm going to play more of him. Now, Embiid, we might not have him on the slate. And then you got the Lakers and then John Morant. So I feel like people just would rather play the guy that has to carry, basically do everything for his team, which would be Tatum if Jaylen Brown were to miss. So that's why I'm thinking that if Jaylen Brown were to miss, Tatum would definitely just be an absolute lock. But even right now, I think he's going to be a very, very good play against the Rockets. Now, his other teammates here, if Jaylen Brown is out, you could play Schroeder. I think 5,600 because they're going to need another offensive threat out there. He could definitely benefit, but we're not sure if he's going to start or not. Honestly, it might actually be better if he doesn't, just so that his minutes do get staggered away from Tatum. Now, with Al Horford back, it's just definitely isn't. It's going to hurt Robert Williams, even though they're starting together. It's still just the minutes and the rebounding. It's going to just eat into one another, and there's not going to be standout plays. But it is a very good matchup, and Robert Williams has all the upside in the world. So I wouldn't be surprised if he were to put up like 40, 50 plus in this matchup. Now for the Houston side, Christian Wood 8,400. This is a fine price, but he's coming off of a monster game. Boston's going to be a lot more solid defensively, especially in the interior. With now there's going to be starting two centers alongside each other. So um, I'm not really going to be playing Christian Wood. I don't think he's going to be able to get 14 rebounds. He's not going to shoot this well in this game, so he's kind of a fade for me. And then other guys like Jalen Green, 5,200. He's getting some good minutes. He was a blowout last game. It was a blowout the first game as well. So I think he could definitely have a better game. There's definitely some upside here. All he has to do is really just shoot better. And peripherals, they should also be going up. But Boston, again, this is not the best matchup. He could see some Marcus Smart, so not the best case for him. Now the next game, Orlando at New York. This game is going to be one of the lower totals on the slate, but there are still going to be a few plays. This is actually just basically another match or rematch. And this is also another team that's pretty much operating with two bigs, with Bamba and Wendell Carter. They're actually using Franz Wagner with them as small forwards. So rebounding, it's going to be kind of tough for all these guards. But Jalen Suggs, he was able to get 7, and I mentioned him in my article. 8 assists, like, I'm not really sure if he's going to be able to do that again. Like shooting, he's going to shoot better. That's no question. Like he's not going to shoot in 20% for his career. And the Knicks, this is going to be a rematcher, but they're going to be the away team now. His price is up at 5,200, but I still think there's a little bit of upside for him. Not the best play on the slate, but I would say if you're playing a lot of lineups, you definitely have him in your pool. And then with Wendell and Bamba, for sure, I prefer Bamba, even though he's only center eligible, because he just has a lot more upside. And the Knicks, they do have some good centers, and right now they only have Mitchell Robinson. Taj Gibson is still questionable, so probably even if he's in, it doesn't really change a whole lot for my interest in Bamba. So I would say Bamba for sure. You're gonna definitely have some interest in this guy because he's just basically a fantasy monster. So definitely want him in the pool, especially on a smaller game slate. And really, that's pretty much it for the Magic side. Just not really an appealing spot. Now for the Knicks, I think Julius Randle would also be a very good option if you're spending up. 8,700, he's getting a lot of assists. He has the ball in his hands a whole lot. Always a threat to double-double, even triple-double. So Randle, Magic, nothing threatening about this matchup. He's been getting the minutes. We know he's going to play massive minutes, even in blowouts. Like he came back in the fourth quarter in this game. So yeah, Randle, I think he's a little bit too cheap here, so I'll have him in my pool. Now, Kemba Walker at 6K, I feel like he's going to have one of those like 40, 50 plus games, but I also just don't want to be chasing that until it finally hits. So I'd rather keep my money than try to play him, guess right, lose it, every night until we have that game, than just trying or rather just fade him, instead of trying to chase every single game. So Kemba, I'm a little, just really nothing too great about Kemba now after all these injuries that he's battled through. RJ Barrett, 5,800. I'm a little bit more interested in him for sure. He is going to be pretty streaky. Like he's going to be volatile. His shooting isn't going to be the best, but he's pretty good with the peripherals. He will have the ball in his hands, and if he's able to play more minutes, not in a blowout, he's as a starter he's going to get mid 30s a minute. So I like the upside. I think he's a little bit too cheap here, 5,800, and it's just a matter of the matchup. This is again against the Magic. The Knicks haven't been in a really good matchup so far yet this season, but I think Barrett on a 5-game slate, you can definitely consider him. And then Mitchell Robinson, 5,300. I'm going to have interest in him as well because if Gibson is out, then you're getting pretty much only Mitchell Robinson at center. They're going to play Jericho Sims, but they kind of don't really want to play this guy. They actually haven't let him play in the second half because they'd rather just go with like Julius Randle at center, or they play like Obi Toppin at power forward, just other lineup combinations without a true center. Now the Phillies side, I think there's a similar scenario here compared to Boston in that because this is a winnable game for them, they don't need one of their better players. I think Embiid could sit out for this one, and if he does, then you're gonna get Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey as the best plays on the slate, and you're gonna be probably trying to jam them in a whole lot. Seth Curry, he's fine, but again, he's only a pure shooter. And then you basically are going to play whoever starts for him. So whether it's Bassi or they could go with like Tolliver, Paul Reed, OKC, they're one of the worst teams in the league. So I'm going to definitely be playing some Philly. Hopefully, um, we should get clarity because it's a 4 p.m. game. But yeah, definitely very important to monitor with Drummond. Also, probably he's doubtful, right? Yeah, he is doubtful. So at least, Embiid, maybe he plays, but for sure, we're going to definitely have some value likely from the Phillies side. Now, on the Thunder, so I talked about this with the Bucks and Spurs game today. For teams that are going to be the underdog, it is a good idea to play multiple guys from the underdog team if you're trying to play stuff from the opposite side. Now, if Embiid misses, you don't need to, but I think it's a good idea. Like for today, for example, Giannis, he was in foul trouble, but he missed a triple double by 2 rebounds and 2 assists. So he could have possibly gotten like near 60 DraftKings points if he had stayed out of foul trouble. He only got 30 minutes. So you were able to see just multiple Spurs guys, Doug McDermott, Derek White, Jakob Poeltl, all just pretty much get like over 7x. So for the Thunder team, again, just a team that is going to be the underdog in this one. Their prices are way too cheap. If they're going to stay in this game, it's going to be because multiple players do have big games. And again, the prices they're too low. SGA 6,800, he's going to be the number one option, and you can definitely play Baisley, Dort. These three guys are going to be, especially SGA, but Baisley second, I would say Dort, and then Giddey. He provides a lot in peripherals, but their minutes are just kind of all over the place. Like um, last game, they played 15 guys in rotation, so they basically played every single player, and like, I mean, that's just the worst thing for daily fantasy. So it's really tough to trust. Like they start Roby over Favors, maybe they're gonna start changing their lineups every game. It might be a disaster for us, but if we're gonna try to play Sixers guys, especially if Embiid's gonna play, then you want to play a few Sixers or a few Thunder players in order to capture that upside. So that's the only case where I would stack. Stack is just not a thing for NBA though. Now for the Warriors and the Kings, this is going to be one of the better games of the slate. Curry, again, 11K, very expensive, but I mean, he's one of the best players in the game, so why not? Draymond at 7K, this looks like a matchup where he could have a very good game, but they've said they're trying to limit his minutes, but like if it's a close game, I don't think he's gonna play like 30 minutes. He should be able to get like mid 30s. So I think Draymond's gonna be in play. He's not gonna score a whole lot of points, but this is what he does. He does all of this stuff a lot better than anyone else in fantasy. So I think even at 7K possible minutes limit, I'm still gonna have some interest in Draymond because of the matchup. Now, if we look at the Warriors minutes, so Andre Iguodala currently questionable. I know you guys, it's kind of cut off, but because I try to fit it for my DK screen, but Andre Iguodala is this one. So if you look at how the Warriors have ran their rotation, Iggy is playing some solid minutes. So this was against the Lakers, and then this was their second game. So he actually closed this one, also playing 23 minutes. And Jordan Poole, 25 minutes here, 20. He also played 25, I believe, or yeah, 25. He didn't close, and I think if Iggy is going to miss this game, he is old, so it's very likely that he doesn't miss. That we could see Jordan Poole finally close these games, and that's what we need out of Poole to really get that upside. And again, the matchup is terrific, so I think Poole is very interesting in this spot. I don't think his minutes are going to be capped like that. And then also Otto Porter, I have to mention him because I would say off the bench you're going to see some bumps to Otto Porter just across the board. He is 3,900, going to be very low on, so he could be a very sneaky option. I'm not sure if I'm going to write about him for my article as the value play, but I think you definitely need to keep him in mind if Iggy is going to miss this game. And we also might not know because this is a 6 p.m. game. Now for the Kings side, so they also get a very good spot here. And Harrison Barnes has been a monster. I don't really want to chase like I don't think he's going to continue doing this all year long because he's kind of a player that we know what he does now, and it's just tough for me to see him replicate these performances. I would say De'Aaron Fox at 8,300 is going to be very good. He hasn't shot the ball well so far, but we know that he's going to get peripherals. So I would say because this is a 5-game slate, very good matchup, good pace. He looks to be pretty good, and I don't think he's going to be too high owned. Now, other guys though, so there's a lot more volatility in this Kings rotation. So if I can find the first game, this was against the Raptors. They closed with Davion Mitchell and Buddy Hield off the bench. And then for this game, they did not have Harkless, and then they started Terrence Davis, but they also used Mitchell and Buddy to close. But now Richaun Holmes fouled out here for this game, and Holmes was in foul trouble pretty much all game long. And so you see some of the minutes here are just for the bench, they're a lot higher than they usually are. So I would say that you're not going to see Barnes have that kind of rebounding game again because Holmes is going to be out there. And then you also probably won't see the same kind of output from like the other bench guys like Davion Mitchell. But Mitchell is cheap, 3,900. He has closed both games, so there's some intrigue. They might want him out there just to be able to guard Steph Curry. Now, I should say, Tyrese Halliburton, he's 6,200. If you look at the usage for him the first game, he was at 8.8%. And in the second game, he was at 16.1. I don't think it's going to continue, but that's a little concerning because they are adding in a guy or guys just that are going to take shots. Like they have Buddy Hield off the bench, and just I don't know about him having to handle the ball, sharing it with all these other Kings players that are able to do that. So that's something that I'm going to have to monitor. I don't think it's going to be a problem, so I'm going to be fine playing him. But yeah, if this continues, then we're going to have to kind of tone down our expectations for Tyrese Halliburton. And then Richaun Holmes, 5,900. Hopefully people are scared off of him because of last game. I mean, he played 18 minutes and got 29. His price is at 5,900. This is the Warriors. They have Kevon Looney out there, undersized center. Draymond Green could definitely close the game at center. Bielitsa, another guy that they use there. Just nothing threatening. And I think Holmes is going to be able to control the paint here. Just as long as he stays out of foul trouble, he does look like one of the better options out there. So I really like Richaun Holmes in this one. And then the last game, so the Memphis side, they're playing on a back-to-back, but there is no travel. But the Lakers, I think this is the spot where the Lakers just come out and really say, we're better than that. We've been, we've lost 2 games, but this is going to be the game that we finally win. We get on the win column. So I'm a little bit concerned about the Grizzlies side. But you can't ignore the fact that the DK just continues to underprice Melton and Bane. These guys are starting, they're playing massive minutes, and they're both 4,200 still. A little bit higher than the 3Ks, but I mean, let's be honest here, they both should be like in the 5Ks at least. And like they're probably going to be high owned, but it's for good reason. I would say because of the matchup, you could maybe fade Bane because he is a little bit more shot dependent than Milton. But in cash games, you're probably going to be playing those guys unless we do get value. So I would say for the Memphis side, it's a little bit concerning, especially with the bigs with AD, Dwight, DeAndre. So Jaren, Steven Adams, it might not be the best spot for them. And then John Moran as well, because he's just not really a good shooter. He needs to get in the paint. Now, the Lakers side, this is why I have LeBron as my thumbnail here. I think just as the vet, as the best player, he's going to come out and just put his foot down and really carry this team. At 9,100, he's the cheapest out of the 3 studs. I don't think he should be the cheapest too. So everything just points to LeBron having a good game, in my opinion. And I'm not sure about his ownership because if we do get Embiid out, we could see a lot of people going to, or we will for sure get a lot of people going to Tobias, who is a power forward. So another 4 that people will go to, and then also Tatum if Jaylen Brown is out. So those are going to be the 2, I would say, best forward options because there's teammates that are missing, whereas LeBron's still going to be playing with Westbrook and AD. But I think it's LeBron, so I'm really liking this spot. Going to be playing a lot of him for sure. So I would say for my core right now, I'm going to go ahead and put in LeBron and then maybe Tatum because I think it's going to be fun either way if Jaylen Brown is going to play. And then Rashawn Holmes mentioned how great of a spot it's going to be. And then I'm going to put in Maxey and Tobias, but again, that's because of me thinking that with an easy match against the Thunder that they're probably rest Embiid. So that's going to be the core for right now, but of course, please monitor injuries. This is a Sunday, so yeah, if you're playing NFL, make sure that you do still continue to check all the NBA news. So I will be working on my article after I post this video, and that again, the article link is totally free. It's focused on tournaments, so please remember, don't be playing those guys in cash most likely, depending on how the slate goes the next day. But again, it's going to be free. The link will be posted in the description. It will be pinned, so please do check it out. And then again, I do work for DFS Army now, so if you want to check out our tools, you like the article, we definitely provide a whole lot more than just that. So please go check it out. I do have my promo code. It's going to be WILL, my name, so Will, and you will get 10% off membership, VIP or Core 4 for your first purchase. So thank you guys for watching, and good luck on the slate. You know where to find me on Twitter, WLin018. So again, thanks guys for the support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.